They called her a relic, a leftover, a joke from a backwater planet that barely survived its own wars. Cassandra Vale heard every whisper, every joke, every insult from the Galactic recruits who strutted through the Academy halls like gods. They laughed when she walked in, draped in battered Earth-issue fatigues, instead of the sleek synthetic armor the rest of them wore. She said nothing. She watched, and she learned. The Galactic Legion's training moon, Virex 9, was meant to weed out the weak. Harsh terrain, automated defense grids, hostile wildlife, it was the final proving ground. Hundreds of alien species had sent their best. She was the only human, and they made sure she knew it. Her first briefing was a chorus of mocking chuckles. A Cathari brute with luminous scales had pointed at her and said, "They let pets join now?" The others laughed. Even the instructor smirked. On day 3, she was paired with a team of Ulvex, four-limbed, tech-savvy specialists who boasted about their strategic superiority. The simulation involved capturing a remote bunker while evading surveillance drones. Cassandra suggested a slow crawl through the underbrush, avoiding thermals and line of sight. Old-school Earth sniper tactics. They laughed again. Primitive, one of them said. We cloak and fly. They shot into the open with hover packs, triggering every drone within 2 clicks. The entire team was virtually killed in 48 seconds. Cassandra, unseen and forgotten in the foliage, reached the bunker. But her kill count was dismissed. "You play dead," the scorekeeper scoffed. "Cowards don't win wars." She was dropped from the elite squad rotation. That night, she cleaned her rifle in silence. It was the only thing she trusted, hand-machined, carbon-bonded steel. No AI assistance. No recoil dampeners. Just a scope, a bolt, and breath control. The room around her buzzed with chatter from aliens reviewing their sims, analyzing failures, correcting mistakes with simulated data. She didn't need simulations. She had survived Earth's fall. She'd fought on Mars when the sky burned red with re-entry fire. She didn't talk about it. They wouldn't understand. On day 7, a Legion commander hosted a mock war council, a team-building exercise. Everyone submitted strategy proposals. Hers was concise, minimal tech, maximum terrain use, and patient ambushes. The document was ignored. One instructor even asked, half-joking, if humans still used rocks and sticks. She stood up, handed in her gear, and walked out. As the sun dipped below Virex 9's jagged ridges, Cassandra climbed to a high bluff overlooking the dense jungle valley below. She lay prone, eyes scanning through her scope. Her finger rested near the trigger, not tense, just ready. She had no mission, no orders, no objective. The squad launched before dawn, confident and loud. The operation was simple. Sweep the southern ridge of Virex 9 for signs of unauthorized tech. Routine. Their laughter echoed through the drop bay as the Ulvex synced their targeting software and the Cathari flexed in their exo-rigs. Cassandra watched them from a shadowed alcove near the comms tower. She wasn't on the manifest. They hadn't invited her, didn't think they needed her. 3 hours later, the base received a garbled distress signal. Static, screaming, then silence. The commander tried to re-establish contact. No response. Drones dispatched for recon never returned. Satellite imaging blacked out. No one knew why, but Cassandra did. She recognized the signature. Adaptive jamming. Not native. Someone else was on the moon. Someone prepared. While the others panicked, she moved. No announcement. No request. She retrieved her pack from the shadows. Ghillie mesh, analog rangefinder, rations, spare mags. Her rifle was already cleaned, oiled, ready. She slipped out through the eastern breach, unseen by the automated sentries. The jungle was louder now, not with noise, but absence. Birds gone, insects silenced, predator rhythm. Her boots sank into moss, her breath shallow and paced. She moved like mist. Hours passed. Then she found them. A Cathari body, limbs twisted, throat opened by something serrated. Not from the front, ambushed from behind. Tech still functional, but unresponsive. Tampered. The kill wasn't just for tactics. It was a message. 10 meters away, an Ulvex helmet lay cracked, The owners remained slumped near a charred crater. Burned. Weaponized energy. High voltage. Localized. Not Legion issue. Experimental? Or something worse? Cassandra marked each kill site with chalk on a strip of bark, then tucked it in her vest. No digital trail. She followed broken branches and compressed undergrowth, constructing the enemy's path. She didn't know who they were yet, but they were fast, smart, and quiet. Another body. This one different. Not dead, breathing barely. A Urine scout, covered in blood and terror. He reached up when he saw her, eyes wide. She's here, he rasped. Cassandra crouched. Who? He shook. They thought it was a ghost. But it was her, one of us. Then he went still. She stood slowly. Ghost. No, that wasn't her. She was just a woman with a rifle. But she understood what was happening. Fear. Chaos. Someone was turning the arrogance of that squad into bait. Misdirection. It wasn't just an attack. It was a hunt. She moved forward, tracking. Shadows deepened. She passed another site, tripwire rigged with alloy shrapnel. Not alien design. Crude. Effective. Human? No, not standard issue. But familiar. Earth tech. Repurposed. Improvised. Then she understood. Someone else was here, possibly from the outer colonies. Not official. Not sanctioned. But trained. Survivors of abandoned fronts sometimes went rogue. Some turned mercenary. Some turned worse. She wasn't here to rescue anyone. She was here to end it. The next hour was spent in silence. She listened, not for sounds, but for the absence of them. Silence was a language. Insects returned behind her, but ahead, the stillness held. She slowed. A flash. Movement. She hit the ground. A razor bolt sang over her head and buried into a tree behind her. She rolled, raised her rifle, adjusted scope, scan. Nothing. But she had the trail now. Whoever fired didn't expect her reflexes. Too slow to reposition. She edged forward 1 meter at a time. And then she saw it. A rigged corpse, propped to lure in attention. The sniper's mistake. She went wide, flanked uphill. 50 meters out, just enough elevation, wind left to right. She adjusted 2 clicks. Waited. The target emerged. An armored figure in non-standard gear, scanning the decoy site. Helmet mirrored, unmarked. 1 breath. 1 squeeze. The shot tore through the helmet and silence returned. She retrieved the body. No tags. No insignia. But the armor was old Earth military, modified. DIY upgrades. Black market tech. Not aliens. Not monsters. Humans. The rain fell in sheets now, smothering sound and scent. Perfect cover. Cassandra moved like vapor through the underbrush, her body wrapped in soaked camouflage that clung to her like a second skin. The terrain favored her. Steep ridges, narrow gaps, blind corners. The deadliest weapons were patience and silence, and she had mastered both long before this moon. The rogue humans weren't an army. They were scavengers, specialists, veterans who had gone feral. Each was trained, unpredictable, and comfortable in this chaos. But they weren't ghosts. They bled, they left traces, and they made mistakes. Cassandra found the next one pacing along a cliff edge, sweeping with a modded pulse rifle. His rhythm was off, left leg dragging slightly. Injury, maybe. She studied him for 3 full minutes. Then a breath. The shot came from 600 meters through wind and foliage. Clean. No scream, no stumble. Just silence. The others wouldn't hear it. She relocated immediately, leaving no trace. 1 shot, 1 kill, then vanish. The ghosts the aliens feared weren't legends. They were made 1 bullet at a time. Farther in, she discovered signs of trapped nests. Hanging tripwires, kinetic snares, pressure plates buried in moss. Whoever set them had learned from Earth's dirtiest wars. Jungle guerrilla tactics. She disarmed each one slowly, collecting their designs in memory. Crude, but effective. These weren't just killers. They were hunters testing their prey. She shifted approach. Psychological warfare now. Her next move wasn't to kill, but to be seen. She let one of them glimpse her through a cracked visor. Just a flicker, then gone. 2 hours later, she repeated it with another, silent silhouette across the ridgeline. They began to spook. She listened to their encrypted chatter crackle from a captured helmet receiver. She's watching. I thought she was one of ours. She's not. Fear, doubt, uncertainty, the most corrosive weapons of all. They began to group tighter. That made them easier. She set a kill zone with an old technique from Earth's Arctic campaigns, mudslide channeling. Rains softened the hill. She sabotaged the ledge above their fallback path. When they passed beneath it, she triggered the slide with a controlled charge. 2 buried. 1 injured. The last ran. She let him. He screamed to the others, "She's not a soldier. She's something else." They had numbers. She had resolve. At dusk, she found the lead operative. Bigger, smarter, wired with gear scavenged from 5 different battlefronts. He was waiting near a ridge with backup. Thermal drones, sentries, directional mines. He had planned for someone fast, loud, predictable. Not her. She came from beneath, crawling for an hour through a cold runoff trench. She emerged 10 meters behind him. A whisper breath. A pressure shift. He turned too late. She shot twice. 1 in the base of the skull. 1 through the side vent of a drone as it pivoted. His guards panicked. She used their confusion, vanished again, and took them down one by one. No pattern. No sound. By nightfall, 6 remained. And they were desperate. They began firing into the darkness at nothing. Cassandra moved slower now, not from fatigue, but precision. Every step measured. Every breath counted. She reclaimed territory inch by inch, forcing them toward a narrow pass. There, she planted old flares wired to random timers. A psychological maze, flashes of light, sudden bursts, no threat, just chaos. It worked. 1 turn on another. Sure, he'd seen movement. Now 4. They tried to run. She let them believe they could. The pass narrowed. She climbed above it, rifle settled, calibrated for crosswind and elevation. 3 shots. All landed. 1 remained. She didn't kill him. Instead, she stepped into the open. Let him see her. He dropped his weapon. "Why?" he asked. She stared through her scope, not answering. "Not yet. Let the message sink in." The galaxy laughed at the idea of human danger. Now would remember fear, because she had become it. Extraction came at dawn. The official report listed 14 dead, 2 wounded, 1 missing. The missing wasn't a mystery. Cassandra hadn't returned with the others. No one asked why. The survivors wouldn't speak her name. They sat in silence aboard the shuttle, eyes hollow, hands trembling, uniforms stained with blood and mud. These were elite warriors, Catheri, Ulvex, and others bred for war, now broken by something they couldn't explain. Back at Virex 9's Central Command, the debriefs were confused. The data was incomplete, recordings corrupted. The drones had captured fragments, blurry shapes moving through trees, rapid-fire deaths with no clear shooter, heat signatures vanishing mid-frame. Command analysts tried to piece together what happened, but the story didn't align. The official version blamed a rogue faction of human mercenaries. Classified. Dismissed. But whispers spread. She moves without sound. She sees before you blink. She hunts like the jungle made her. Instructors pulled recruits aside, warning them to take simulations seriously. Tech couldn't replace instinct. Not after what happened in the Southern Ridge. A name circulated in hushed tones, Ghost Vale. Some said she wasn't real. Just a myth. Others remembered seeing her. One Catheri swore she saw glowing eyes in the rain. Cassandra returned 3 days later. Walked straight through the main gate without a word. Her uniform was torn, eyes bloodshot, rifle slung low across her back. She handed over a data stick, a stack of field notes, and the last surviving rogue operative, unconscious and restrained. No grand speech. No medal ceremony. She didn't care. The brass tried to interrogate her, asked how she bypassed jamming tech, how she tracked humans trained to avoid tracking, how she eliminated an entire cell solo. She said nothing useful. They were noisy, she muttered once. I wasn't. An intelligence officer tried to provoke her, called her methods outdated, said she was reckless. Cassandra didn't flinch. You think war is clean because your hands are, she replied. Mine aren't. He said nothing after that. Her record was updated. Not with praise, but with clearance flags. She was now on a list of assets too valuable to discard and too dangerous to cross. Offers came in from Black Ops divisions, covert strike programs, planetary defense councils. She ignored most of them. Eventually, she took one that allowed her full autonomy. No chains, just objectives. The cadets never approach her. They watch from a distance, some with awe, others with unease. She wasn't one of them. She never had been. Among the alien soldiers, the story changed. It was no longer about the woman they mocked. It was about the shadow in the trees. The invisible hunter who bled them dry without leaving footprints. A Cathari instructor incorporated her tactics into survival training modules. An Ulvex commander quoted her field notes during a lecture on asymmetric warfare. The galaxy didn't laugh anymore. Some tried to deny it happened. But every so often, another elite squad would vanish on a jungle moon. Footage corrupted, audio garbled. The only trace, a single .308 casing left standing upright on a rock. When asked once why she left those behind, Cassandra replied, "So they know it wasn't luck. It was a choice." Legends formed faster than truth in the outer systems. Some believed she was Earth's revenge. Others called her the last true soldier. She didn't care what they said. She wasn't doing it for legacy. She did it because no one else would. Because someone had to. A message had been delivered in silence, blood, and precision. Underestimate humanity, and you will learn.